Good, YouTube. So, what do you do when you have a cold? Well, if you've tried all conventional cold medicines and you're still stuffed up, might I recommend hot sauce or horseradish? Some sort of spicy food that's hot enough to clear out your sinuses. That usually seems to work. But my sinuses have been stuffed up for the last 2 days or so, and it's starting to clear up just a little bit. It's not nearly as bad as it was about 2 days ago, so that's one of the advantages to having a healthy immune system. Right now I'm sipping on some Fletchman's vodka mixed with Coca-Cola. Yeah. But if you have stomach ulcers that are sensitive to spicy food, then if you're using spicy food to clear out your sinuses, be careful with that, obviously. But, yeah, some spicy ass hot sauce. When your face starts sweating and your whole face is just watering from the heat of the hot sauce, you blow your nose a shit ton of times, and then I guarantee you your sinuses will be cleared out. But I'm blowing my nose as often as I can, and that seems to be doing the trick. If my nose was not able to blow properly and dispose of mucus in like a tissue or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Kleenex, yeah, whatever the fuck you want to call it. If I couldn't blow my nose properly, then I'd take a little bit of hot sauce, and I'd usually do it, but I'm having no trouble with blowing my nose. It's just excess and stuffy. The thing of it is, YouTube, is I hardly ever get sick, and my immune system seems to be doing a pretty excellent job of fighting off a cold, so to speak. Yeah. Oh, damn. You hear Vegeta say, I do a lot of push-ups and sit-ups, and I drink plenty of juice. nose seems to be clearing up a little bit. That's nice. I tell you what, if I'm job hunting online, what have you, on the offhand chance that one or two people might call me back, I can't have me being sick. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? And obviously, if I go in for an interview, I don't go in dressed like this. This is how I normally dress, you know what I'm saying? Especially for warmer weather, you know. Gonna show off these things right here. It's a good thing Wyoming's an open carry state because these are some big guns. Okay, that was a really horrible joke, but some of you out there, some of you dudes out there are probably wondering, how do you grow stuff out like this? It's quite easy if you know what you're doing. Now, normally when you shave, you notice that your face grows stubble. Well, in between shaving, what you do is you leave the stubble on your chin or on your upper lip or underneath your lip or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you shave the rest of the stubble off completely. And you keep doing that between shave cycles. Eventually, well, if you're like me, you got this scruff right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, legitly. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah. Shit, if I know I could have grown this, I would have been growing this in high school. Damn. But to grow something like this does take me at least a couple of months, but it is most definitely doable. Yeah. Sipping on that vodka and coke, 'cause now I'm no joke. Take a trip down to Colorado and buy some weed and have a toke. Stanley Steamer Hotel, fucking with ghosts and getting stoned. You can't tell me that wouldn't be a dope ass video. Me on camera fucking with ghosts. Like, YouTube, check this shit out. I happen to be very sensitive to the spirit world, YouTube. So, for whatever reason, I've been able to see ghosts a lot easier than most people. And spirits seem to be drawn to me for whatever fucking reason. Don't know what it is, but there you go. I mean, I'm not really bitching about it. It is kind of cool to have that. Having the gift to sense spirits, and of course, having a gift with animals. I've always had a way with dogs, especially. I'm cool with cats, you know, but I'm more of a dog person. Yeah, one of my, I have two friends that have severe epilepsy. And one of them had come over earlier. He's like, hey man, can I just rest for a minute? Because he told me about how he had a seizure yesterday, and I said, yeah, that's cool, man, you know. It would calm his endorphins just enough to where he wouldn't convulge and shit. And, yeah, he went to go do his thing and hang out with some other people, yeah. He wasn't asking to stay here, mind you. And if anyone had asked to crash overnight, I'd be like, nah, dude, I can't do that. I mean, who the fuck do you know would start off a ventriloquist video with heavy guitar shredding? It's just one of those things that a whole lot of people on YouTube aren't really doing, you know, so there is some originality to it. As most of the jokes told in that Sean Saunders skit were perfectly PC, and then they got a little dark and twisted, and then politically incorrect, and then, yeah, there you go. Those are jokes I had already done before, and the skit works for a YouTube video because, you know, people find that shit funny. But actually sitting down and writing a skit for Sean and his girlfriend to do on camera, that shit would be fucking funny. People would be like, they're fighting just like a real couple and they're both dolls. You know, that kind of thing. And I think people would be like, okay, that's really funny. Or some people would be like, that's not funny at all, it's just stupid. You know, people have their opinions. But, yeah. I checked my PayPal and I think about Saturday-ish. I want to order some pipe tobacco. A couple ounces have set me right. I was reading the description for the McCherry blend from McKinland on pipesandcigars.com. And the description, I'm like, alright, that sounds like a pretty tasty pipe tobacco. Then I was checking the stats on it. The strength of the tobacco is a mild to medium. And the room note is a full 4, which is, according to pipesandcigars.com, distinct. Which, for me, I'm somewhat picky with pipe tobacco. If it's an aromatic, I want it to taste good. I want it to smell just as good as it tastes. And I want it to have a nice little nicotine kick to it, you know what I'm saying? And most people, when they think of pipe smoking, they think of a sweet-smelling pipe tobacco that's perfumes the air with wonder and delight. People be like, oh, what you smoking on? That smell good. Although if you're someone like me who has long ass fucking hair and shit, people see you smoking out of a pipe and they're like, what the hell are you smoking out of that? It's tobacco, what do you think it is? You thought it was the other thing? Oh wow, okay, that's kind of a cliche, my friend. Just because I got long ass hair, fucking whatever. But that's to be expected. Most people think of pipe smokers as older gentlemen, you know, or like a doctor or some sort of, or you know what I'm saying, this fucking cliche pipe smoker stereotypes of sorts, yes. But it's like, what the fuck ever, dude. Pipe smoking is a lot cheaper than cigarettes, and for a lot of non-smokers, I've never heard a non-smoker complain. I've never heard a non-smoker complain about a sweet-smelling pipe tobacco. The thing that'll get you on pipe smoking, though, is some pipes do get rather expensive. I pay like maybe $20 plus tax for this one right here. That's not too inexpensive, to be honest with you, because I've seen tobacco pipes go for $4,000. Who in their right fucking mind, if you have the kind of money to spend $4,000 on a tobacco pipe, that's just so you can brag to all your friends at the country club. Oh, I do declare, I spent $4,000 on this pipe. I'm gonna go smoke it to my Mercedes Benz. I don't know how those people sound. It's just, yeah. That Fleshman's vodka's got a nice burn to it, and the Coca-Cola gives it a sweet taste, and it smooths out the burn quite nicely. It makes it drinkable. Fucking hell, my nose is still stuffed up. I'm not gonna be able to record any album shit until I'm not fucking sinused up, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't sing 100% if my fucking sinuses are stuffed up. Now, all things considered, I didn't get sick hardly at all winter, maybe like once or twice, and it was mild at best. And the sinus pressure is fairly mild. My immune system seems to be doing an excellent job of preventing myself from getting sick. It's a mindset, really. I says to myself, I'm job hunting, man. I can't afford to be sick if someone calls me in for an interview and offers me a job. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Pardon my French, but fuck that. At this point, they'd be like, oh, that's an excuse. I'm like, no, it's not an excuse. But if your nose is so stuffed up that you can't blow your nose when you're sick, fucking, you got horseradish, you got wasabi sauce, you got hot sauce, pick one. Something spicy enough that it'll literally decongest your sinuses for you. You know what I'm saying? Some people despise spicy food for the sheer fact that it burns the crap out of their mouth, and people cannot honestly see. So there are some people out there who would look at people like me and go, why the fuck would you use Swampadelic? It burns the shit out of your mouth. What is there to gain out of eating something like that? Believe it or not, spicy food is actually really good for your sinuses and for your overall immune system. If you have a high tolerance to spicy food, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff is good for your immune system if you have a high tolerance to spicy food. And, you know, if you clear out your sinuses just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But, oh, I can breathe clearly again. Oh, that's nice. I started to get a sore throat last night, but it went away instantly. Like, my body was prepared for this shit. Like, we ain't getting sick. not when I got my next album to produce, and not when I'm job hunting. I can't afford to be sick, man. Fuck that shit. You know, if I'm producing my 8th album and job hunting, I can't be sick. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, no. Mm-mm. Nope. Oh. I reckon within the next 2 to 3 days, I'll be rid of this bullshit. Getting stuffed up is not fun, but again, it's part of the human experience, so to speak. You tend to get sick every now and then eventually you get better. Well, the Coke and vodka mixed in this cup is quite delicious, I do declare. A nice way to cap off the evening. There we go. Enunciate our words. How now, brown cow? The train drives through Spain while the plane flies over in the rain. See, if I didn't give myself shit, nobody else would. uh, and that's the beauty of mixing soda with hard liquor, is that you can literally make the burn go away and make it taste better. Fleischmann's or Potters by themselves, they're not bad if you're into vodka. The cheap vodka, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you can mix it with damn near anything, and, you know, if vodka and Coke wasn't your thing, then you could do a screwdriver of vodka and orange juice. And vodka and orange juice is delicious. I don't care what anyone fucking says. If you don't have a screwdriver, you're fucking missing out. And the nice thing about some vodkas are they're like dirt cheap and super strong in alcohol. So, you know, you really cannot argue with that logic right there. I mean, it's cheap and it gets you fucked up. Well, I'll be damned. That's the deal of a century right there. And the beauty of being 26 is they can't say shit about it. They can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're drinking, that's not allowed. Kiss my Asperger's, I'm 26. I can legitly use that because I have Asperger's and that shit is funny. Every time a troll talks shit, kiss my Asperger's. You know what I legitly tell trolls though? Is my dick out? No. Then why is your mouth open? Quit talking shit. Do you want some toilet paper for your mouth? Do you want some toilet paper for your mouth because you're talking a lot of shit? Get a little shit stain in your mouth. And the thing you have to... Oh, come on, photo booth. Unfreeze. You can do it. There it goes. Yeah. The thing you have to do, YouTube, is you have to stay vigilant. The harder people try to fuck with you on YouTube, you gotta stay strong and continue to make videos, because if you give up and quit making videos, then you're letting those fuckers win, and that's not what we want. The reason why people fuck with you is because they're jealous of certain aspects of what I do. Not afraid to be myself, or actually somewhat decent at music, and that unnerves them. They see me getting more popular on YouTube, and which means they gotta come up with a more clever way to fuck with me. And I still sitting here saying fuck the trolls. Yeah. Having my nose stuffed up on and off these last couple of days. Last 3 days. Yeah, it's part of being sick, but you know, it's easily enough fightable, you know, eventually it goes away. my immune system's doing a pretty decent job of fighting it off. It's not hitting me super hard at all. Most people who get sick, if their immune system's weak, something like this, they'd be like, "Oh my life, fuck it, like I don't know." No. Me, I'm like, fucking okay, immune system, do your shit. Man, I think my family does have a membership at the YMCA here in town. So if I wanted to go lift weights, I could, which would be a nice little benefit. But doing push-ups and sit-ups works just as great too, because you're bench pressing your own body weight when you're doing push-ups. And I could get super fucking ripped, and people wouldn't want to fuck with me. Most people don't want to fuck with me now, but you know, if I were super fucking ripped, people would be stupid to fuck with me because I'd probably smash their skull into the pavement. You'd hear it shatter, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, they tripped. I don't know what happened." Nah, but it's a quote from Spider-Man: "With great power comes great responsibility." And when you're a big ass fucking dude that could knock somebody out in one fucking hit, you gotta be responsible with that. You can't just go around picking fights with everyone. That's not good, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be responsible with the power, you know what I'm saying? And I suppose it's no different than when you're casting spells either. Magic works a lot like karma, or whatever you cast out can come back 10 times on you. So if you're casting a negative spell on somebody, if your circle of protection is not strong, it can literally come back 10, 20 times worse on you. And that's why I avoid using my magic to hurt people unless I absolutely have to. Choosing my words carefully on that, yeah. This cup's just about empty, and that'll be the last of it for the evening, folks. You ask, how did I get alcohol? Well, a friend of mine stopped by, and he's like, "Hey, man, you want a drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, is that a trick question?" You ask me if I want a drink. That is that a trick question? And the answer is, of course, I want a fucking drink. What am I? A soberholic? Fuck that. No, I joke, YouTube. I joke. That was horrible. That was a horrible joke. I like getting drunk as much as the next guy, but you got to be responsible with it, YouTube. You know, you can't be drunk all the time. That just, well, it can get old after a while. You know, you think it's fun for a minute, but then, you know, when that's all you do is drink alcohol, eventually you start falling into a rut where you gotta have it, and that's just not a good habit to get into, you know. Thing of it is I know what happens when I get drunk. I either pass out or become a total smartass. And I only get physical unless I'm provoked, you know, kind of thing. A lot of people, when they drink heavily, some people get violent, some people get overly emotional, and some people are just flat out sloppy as fuck when they're drunk. And it's like, dude, no. Okay, the important thing about anything that you do in life, like alcohol, for instance, is know how it affects you. If you're the kind of person that gets incredibly sloppy after just one or two drinks, you know, then alcohol's really not your thing. You know, you might want to like have like one drink and just sip on it all night. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody likes a sloppy drunk. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than if you were a violent or overly emotional drunk. But that doesn't mean that just because you drink alcohol that you're going to be violent or overly emotional. I think that's a cliche that people have with alcohol. They sit there and say that, oh, if you drink alcohol, it makes you violent. Not necessarily. There are plenty of people when they drink, they mellow the fuck out. They're just whatever, you know, unless they're provoked. And yeah, there are some people that just get flat out angry when they drink, and it's like these are the people that shouldn't be drinking, you know, because sloppy drunks are nowhere near as obnoxious as angry drunks. Yeah. Oh, just like when people say that if you smoke pot, you're lazy. That's bullshit, man. Not every person who smokes pot is lazy. Yeah, there are some people who smoke it and they don't do shit. They sit on their ass, they eat Cheetos and Doritos, and they play video games and what have you. And there are some people who smoke pot and they get shit done. They're productive members of society. To sit there and say that every person who smokes pot is lazy, that's just like saying every person who drinks alcohol is violent. It's a common cliche, really, and it's just outdated and unnecessary. Most people will be shocked to find out that our first president, George Washington, the very first president of the United States, George Washington himself, smoked cannabis and snorted cocaine. Don't believe me? Look it up. Go ahead, look it up. I'll sit here and I'll wait. Now, a lot of you are going to be asking yourself this question. Okay, if our founding fathers experimented with drugs, why didn't they tell us about that when we were growing up? In school, why do they neglect to mention that Benjamin Franklin wore clothing made out of hemp? And then why do they neglect to mention that Benjamin Franklin was high as fuck on opium when he decided, oh, I'm going to tie this wire to this kite and then tie a key to that wire and fly it in a rainstorm to see what happens. And lo and behold, he discovered electricity. Why do they neglect to tell us that Thomas Edison and his buddies were all smoking pot and doing various other drugs, and they came up with the light bulb? Drink a cup of water there. Why, you ask? It's quite simple, YouTube. The reason why the school system fails to teach children about some of the greatest thinkers of our modern times, like Albert Einstein, for instance. Albert Einstein also experimented with drugs. But the reason why they don't tell you about Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy smoking weed is because it's so they can tell you when you're older, when you're in high school, that just say no to drugs, you know, and all that bullshit. Oh, even when you're younger, when I was growing up, it was always just say no to drugs. But come to find out, some of these drugs that they're telling you to say no to aren't exactly bad for you. Like, they're saying that psychedelic mushrooms could be the next natural antidepressant. And medical marijuana has so many potential benefits, it's unreal. As a matter of fact, humans are biologically designed to receive cannabinoids and the chemicals found in the cannabis plant. And again, these are all facts that I've gathered while doing my research. If you don't believe me, you can Google it yourself. You have Google at your fingertips. It is a wonderful tool to use. If you Google the endocannabinoid system, every human has one. These are cannabinoids between nerve cells in our bodies. And these little cannabinoids are designed to receive all the wonderful medical benefits from marijuana when it's ingested into the human body. When you have cancer, you can't eat, you can't sleep, and get depressed because you think you might die. But then you go through chemo trying to eradicate it, and it kills your appetite completely. You start smoking the weed, all of a sudden you have a better outlook on life. It gives you an appetite back, and it numbs the pain of the chemo. So then you keep smoking it, and eventually you might actually beat it. That's because cannabis cures 7 out of 10 people when it comes to cancer, but chemotherapy kills 7 out of 10 people. Most people don't know that, but there you go. But if chemotherapy kills 7 out of 10 people, whereas cannabis cures 7 out of 10 people, why the fuck are they using chemotherapy instead of cannabis? Because, quite simply, pharmaceutical companies, drug companies, they're all a bunch of greedy bastards. They think there's far more money to be made keeping somebody sick than actually fixing the problem. Quite often you'll see this with not just chemotherapy, but any, or most likely not any prescription pill, but a lot of prescription pills that have all these nasty ass side effects that outweigh the cost for taking them in the first place. You're taking a pill for one thing that you have, and you get like 20 unwanted side effects, and that is that factor coming into play. Is that they can keep you sick, then you're constantly going to the doctor, and you're constantly going, doctor, I'm sick, I don't know what the fuck's wrong, blah, 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 blah. Well, here, take this, this'll go, make this go away. You know, that's usually how that goes. That doesn't mean that going to the doctors is a bad thing, because it's not, you know what I'm saying? But quite often, and this is the society we live in, if you get caught with a marijuana cigarette, people might look at you like you're a drug addict, but at the same time, you can go to the doctor's office, and the doctor can gladly write you a prescription for morphine pills. So the very same society that sits there and says, oh, you're a drug addict if you smoke a joint, but that very same society doesn't have a problem when the doctors write unnecessary prescriptions out to people who don't need it, but they're looking to make a quick buck. And every time a doctor writes a prescription to a patient, the company that makes that pill will give that doctor a small cut of the profits made from that pill. It's common knowledge. Ooh. See, normally I don't cough like that. Normally I'm not stuffed up like this, but there you go. Just a very mild sinus cold. Nothing my awesome immune system can't handle. Trying to enjoy a decent bowl of pipe tobacco, and it can be hard to hold the smoke down when you're congested. Yeah, fudge it. That stem is clogged. Not anymore, it's not. One YouTuber asked, is it hard to unclog the stem? And the answer is so far no, it hasn't given me any difficulties. But that can be the biggest thing with smoking a pipe, really, is when the stem gets clogged. You gotta unclog it. It's such a nice night out that I figured crack the window and get some nice relaxing air blowing through here. Well, if you're smoking tobacco anyway, it's better to have the window cracked open so it's not billowing in the air. When it's a doctor's job to make you better, not worse. There are some doctors who support cannabis because they know it has a lot of medical potential, but they cannot publicly come out in support of it because they would lose their job and their doctor's license if they come out publicly supporting it. So a lot of doctors are behind closed doors with that shit. And there are some doctors who still flat out refuse to acknowledge that cannabis has any medical benefits. And to these doctors who refuse to acknowledge that cannabis might actually have some healing potential, you call the oath you took a hypocritical oath. Well, you should call it a hypocritical oath because you're so against cannabis, but yet you have no problems filling out these crooked drug companies' drug deal receipts and telling people, hey, you take this and you'll be better. It might give you 20 side effects, but if it only gives you like 5 or 10 of them, just call me and we'll figure this out, you know, kind of thing. And that's why I don't trust the drug companies, man. There are a lot of drugs out there that do a lot of good for people when the prescription pill is actually made right in the laboratory and it actually does help people. Awesome. But a lot of these pills have side effects. You know, you're taking a pill for one thing and literally getting 10, 20, 30 side effects. It's like, fuck that, dude. You want a perfect example of this? Go to YouTube right fucking now and type in Chantix commercial in the YouTube search box. And watch the entire thing. It's a quit smoking pill. Side effects for that pill include irritability after quitting Chantix, trouble sleeping, vivid or strange dreams or nightmares, thoughts of suicide, all this other crap. And it's like, dude, one pill should not give you all this. Like, you're trying to get someone to quit smoking and not give them vivid or strange dreams, trouble sleeping, thoughts of suicide. And if Chantix gives you irritability after you quit taking Chantix, that's no different than quitting cold turkey. And if you're going to quit smoking, people, quit cold turkey. Fuck Chantix. Some of the vapor pens are alright, like the flavors are tasty, but I prefer old school convenient tobacco, you know what I'm saying? Like, inhaling a water-based vapor just doesn't feel natural to me, you know. But life is an interesting son of a bitch, let me tell you. Some of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Life is kind of ironic. Here's how life works in a nutshell. If you're a long-time smoker and you say you're going to quit smoking, and you actually make an effort to quit smoking, one day life is going to be like, alright, I'm going to give this person the worst day they've ever fucking had, to the point where they're going to want a cigarette so fucking bad, and they're going to run into somebody who's smoking one on the side of the street, waiting for the bus or whatever, and that'll tempt that person into asking that other person for a cigarette. That's how life works. You say you're going to do something, that's when life puts you to the test. For me, it's controlling my temper. That's when life's like, oh, you say you're going to control your temper? Okay, well, we're going to have 10 to 20 things go wrong and fuck up just to see if you're being serious or not. Huh. And it's like that with everybody and everything if you think about it. Yeah. I'm big enough to do some damage, but I could be bigger. And it wouldn't take much, YouTube. Oh no, it wouldn't. Come Saturday, I'll transfer some money to my bank account, and then some of that money I'll use to buy some pipe tobacco. Yeah. I call this a drink combo video. Would you call it YouTube? I think drink combo is the appropriate word for it.